My background's a little bit different today. Hi, I'm Caleb. I hope you're doing well, and welcome back to my channel. Today is a very special day. I'm actually currently recording this on the same day this is going up, but today is Transgender Day of Visibility, and this is a really important day to be talked about online by creators of all sizes. So I put out a video earlier in the week asking for submissions from my community. I have a very small community here, especially in the trans area. So we got a couple of submissions, and I will put those at the end of the video. So if you are waiting to see your own submission or you're waiting to see the community talk about things, that will be at the end of this video. But don't skip to there because I have a lot of important things to be talking about. So, Trans Visibility Day. Trans Visibility Day was created by transgender activist Rachel Crandell Crocker in Michigan in 2009, which, to be honest, is pretty recent. This was a reaction to the lack of LGBTQ plus recognition of transgender people, and her goal was to create a day of happiness for trans people that can move away from the negativity and the hate that trans people experience in their everyday life. And I think this is a really powerful thing to do, and too important because at that point in time, I think the only day that was specifically for trans people was Trans Day of Remembrance, and that was a very sad day. I know recently has been used as a way to spread trans power and to talk about all the issues going on with the world, but at that time it was just a very sad day, and there was no really happy day to look at trans people and to all come together as a community. My theme with this video is about trans positivity being powerful. Positivity in general is just a really powerful thing to be able to do, especially with all the hate and all the oppression in the world at the moment towards trans people, all the anti-trans laws being passed, just all the terrible things that are going on in this world right now that nobody really likes to hear about. And I don't want to make this all about that, because this video, like the whole point of Trans Visibility Day, is for happiness, is for empowerment. So that is our focus. But the oppression and all of the things going on across the world, not just in America but everywhere, currently rising, is just, it's ridiculous and it's sad, and nobody should have to live through that, and nobody should think that that's okay. But something that really has stood out to me in especially this past year, but for a while, is just the power and the strength of the trans community when they come together and when they really fight for what they want to do. Our community is crazy. It's strong, it's loud, and it's not willing to back down, which is amazing. And there have been some really positive changes that have occurred from that. I know it feels like we're going backwards, but it has. We have come so far to get inclusion, to get rights, and our community is great. And I think that's something that we should definitely look on today and every day, is how amazing and how supportive and friendly our community is. What a group of just amazing people are here in person, online, all ready to come together and fight for their own rights, to fight for what is right, and to speak out against the people who are trying to oppress us. Trans people are a group that tend to have issues with positivity, self-love, and just kind of dealing with dysphoria and hate and all the negative things. But also a community to come together to put empowerment behind that, to put positivity, talk about your own experiences and your own bodies and self-love, and to help other people deal with that. And seeing people with that positivity, seeing people online with just outright love for themselves and what they're going through, both after and before their transition, is just incredible. And it really shows how much that positivity and that kind of view of yourself and the way that this journey is a journey that will come to a good point, and showing especially younger trans people that I think should be a main focus of Trans Visibility Day. Just seeing all those really positive experiences and people loving themselves and who they are in their trans experience, and the fact that they are trans. The people who go and say that being trans is the best thing that happened to them, being trans is way better than if they were cis, for me personally, it's made me respect others and respect life in general, and be able to be empathetic and deal with some of these hard things and be able to understand what other people are going through a lot easier and a lot better. And I think that's made me a much better person. And the people who have that view on things, I know it's hard. I know it's hard for people who are young in the trans community. It's hard for me to say that, but being trans is, despite everything, a really good thing. And it is something that gives you a lot of experience that cis people won't get, and gives you a lot of empathy. And just the community, again, going back to the community, it's everybody seems to have this kind of like positive and fighting spirit. I know, I mean, I gotta say everybody, not everybody, because it is difficult, and there are moments when people feel like it's never gonna end. But everybody, when you see people at Pride, when you see people marching through the streets or fighting for their rights, you just see how overwhelmingly strong this community is. And going into like the future and how the trans experience hopefully will change in the future, although it seems like it's going downhill now, I think our community is stronger than that. I think our community can overcome this, and we've seen it with loads of different groups in the past, with fighting for women's rights, for gay rights, just in general. They never win, and we will never let them win. It may feel like they're winning currently, but our community is stronger and it's better, and we have the power and the loudness of voices and activists and online creators to be able to overcome this. It will be hard, and I think the next few years especially will be very difficult, but I believe that with all the positivity, just kind of the whole theme of this video, positivity is power, with all the activists, with all the talks, with raising awareness, just kind of the power of the education system. I know definitely my schools implemented a lot more LGBTQ teaching over the past few years, and have really raised awareness towards their trans students. I know it's not the same everywhere. I know some places that kind of thing is banned, but those people who are getting educated, and those people who are being told about this from a younger age, who don't grow up with that negativity towards trans people, who don't grow up being told that trans is bad, that will change a lot of things. And I think with the next generation, with the younger people in our generation either, when we all grow up and we start being in charge of these things, we start being able to host more events. I mean, it's already starting. It's going to help boost us a whole lot into equality, hopefully, fingers crossed. And with a lot of like online creators speaking out about their experiences, it also goes to educate people. It goes towards helping people understand our experiences. And I know that's the main focus of my channel. I know it's the main focus of quite a lot of trans people on the internet, to share their experiences and create that kind of happy, supportive environment for people to come online and forget about all the shitty things going on in the world. And I think cis people coming across that content is starting to start more conversations. And whilst all those conversations might not be the best, it definitely helps. And I think the positive side of doing things like that can outweigh the negatives. The inclusion, the representation is way outpowers the hate of anybody in the comments, anybody trying to speak out against people. And you know what? Well, most of their arguments are just bullshit. In fact, all of their arguments are just bullshit. Don't listen to anybody who's hating against you or any creators. There is absolutely nothing behind any of that claims, no research, no anything. So just have a laugh about them, ban them, make sure they don't go into communities any further and spread any more hate to anybody who doesn't want to hear it. Healthcare as well. Healthcare, I feel, is slowly getting there, and especially in the UK, it's terrible. But I feel like recently some more private clinics, which I know are expensive, but at least they're there. And with the NHS changing the way the GID system works, hopefully in the future that will work better. I know it's not really going anywhere currently, and that's annoying for me and for a lot of young trans and genderqueer people. But I hope that will actually help, and I hope that will help speed up the process for a lot of people. And I hope that more healthcare providers get educated on trans topics. I know there is more, but it's not enough currently, and I hope that happens for us in the future. At the end of the day, trans joy is power. Everyone is valid, and everybody should keep fighting for our rights, keep spreading the information, and using our platforms, no matter how big or small, to spread positivity and raise awareness. Because that's what matters, and that's what's going to help our situation. Ignore all the haters. Go beyond them, outshine them, and we'll see what our community can do together over the next year. Happy Trans Visibility Day, and now I'm going to hand you guys over to some of our great community members to hear what they have to say in response to some of the questions I posted on the previous video. See you soon. Bye.
Hi, you guys might know me as Frog or Froguin from Froguin _ on Twitch. I am a friend of Caleb's through our streaming platforms, and I've featured on some of his YouTube stuff. I identify as a trans man or transmasc individual. I've identified as not cis since about 2015. I've identified specifically with the transmasc label or trans man since 2016. Since I was about 14, I'd say. My pronouns are primarily he, him, but I also use the neopronouns viv, him, viz, and boo, self here and there in certain circles. So, what is the best part about being trans or gender non-conforming? That's a difficult one because in spending my teens identifying as like trans and figuring that out for myself amongst many other things hasn't been easy, but I guess one of the things was it helped me feel less confined by what was expected by those around me, or what should be expected, even down to like how I would express, how I would act. It was just one of the different and unique facets about myself, and it meant that I helped to create safe space and community, even in just myself and my partner, who is also trans, within our school, to those in younger years who were also in the LGBT community, who we kind of took under our wing and kind of gave guidance where possible. I think that was the best part, is like looking after the younger, more new people in your community and trying to take them under your wing, and so that they don't make the same mistakes you did or feel as alone as you did when you were their age and all that kind of thing. What challenges have you had to overcome? I guess one of them being my family. Like, well, some of, like, even now, 7-8 years down the line, and there's a fair amount of my family that still don't know, a fair amount of my partner's family that don't know, most of them don't even know that we're together. I don't have much of a support network within my family that actually fully grasp what it means to be trans and what I'm asking of them. For example, my father still regularly misgenders me, has never used my name or my pronouns the entire time, despite knowing the entire time. And the fact that like I teach and the children refer to me by my name, and still it doesn't get respected when I come home. Another difficult thing was getting through school, because me and my partner were some of the first to kind of come out as LGBT in our year when we were like 13, 14 years old, and that led to a lot of bullying and like threats and harassment on a constant basis, which was very difficult to deal with, but thankfully it kind of lessened over time and people kind of left us alone eventually. I guess that's one of the bigger difficulties, and I guess in today is the fact that it feels that no matter what I do or try, my identity is never fully respected or understood. Um, just as someone who wishes to be perceived as a masculine individual. Also, apologies for my voice. I'm under the weather right now, hence the. I don't usually sound like this. I am. I am pre anything. I've got no medical transition under my belt. I only was able to legally change my name when I turned 18, quite a few years back now. How do you hope the transgender experience to change in the future? I just hope that it becomes easier, just in general, that it becomes easier to transition however you see fit to transition. I hope that society becomes more accepting, and that they don't continue to go backwards as they have been, especially in very, very recent times. It is something that scares me and scares many of us. I also hope that it becomes more genuinely exclusive, because as it currently stands, I find the trans community kind of just is perceived to be full of AFAB, white, small, slim frame individuals, and that's about it. Whereas it's not. Obviously, you have people who are trans femme as well as trans mass. You have non-binary people completely under that umbrella or spectrum, or however you personally visualize or understand it. There's obviously people of color. There's disabled people. There's people who aren't small and thin and white. It's things like that that have led to preconceived notions in the community and preconceived understandings and expectations that lead to some people in the community not feeling welcome when they absolutely should feel welcome in this community. And it leads to a lot of other problems down the line, and those need to be acknowledged and tackled, and otherwise you can't just work on one thing and hope that it magically makes everything better. It doesn't work like that. Like, you have to tackle the mental health, the family, the finances, the healthcare, like everything has to be maintained, tackled and kept, otherwise it all falls apart. And I just hope that it genuinely improves for the future and it doesn't continue to go backwards for just so many people's sake. As for a funny story, I think I have one or two. One that was quite nice was, I think it was when I was doing my GCSE, so I must have been around 15, 16 years old, maybe a little younger, because if it was in year 10, I don't know, but I remember a friend of mine, she'd taken a picture of my face and had put it on her like Snapchat, being like, oh yeah, like we're hanging out, we're going out, kind of thing. And apparently one of her friends replied to him and was like, oh, like, who's he? What's his snap? And it was like one of the like earlier times of me being like kind of perceived, I guess, correctly, or as I want to be perceived, especially outside of my friend circle, which was really nice. I think another one that's a bit more funny, but because of my lack of medical transition, my voice isn't that deep, and so as a result, I tend to naturally make it, I guess, deepen. And so I kind of would do that, especially if taking in parcels. And so one time, my partner and our friend were all hanging out at mine, and a parcel came for me. And so, without really thinking about it, my voice dropped slightly. And I was like, "Oh, cheers." But like, however deep I decided, it ended up being. And when I came back through, like both of them were in absolute tears, laughing because of the way my voice had dropped. They just found it really fun. They were like, "Oh, cheers." Friends aren't your friends if they don't mock the absolute hell out of you, it seems. Like, even to this day, like, this would have been years ago, and even to this day, my partner still will bring it up when it happens, which is just goes to show how long the things will stay in your brain. Yeah, I think that's everything. But I guess as a little thing, I want to just add on a little message of, like, anyone who's out there, like, even if you're not trans or you're not sure or you're in the LGBT community or you're just struggling, like, just keep going, man. It's hard. It's so hard sometimes, but like, you need to find the little things in life that keep going. Like, they'll help you keep going, and it's those small brief moments that you just have to hold on to as hard as you can. And one day, I'm sure you will get there. Some way, somehow. And yeah. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Shay. I'm a transgender teen, and I'm trans masc, she, him pronouns. The best part about being trans for me is honestly like the community and the people I've met, because I wouldn't meet them if I was cisgender. I've been struggling with like parental support and dysphoria and stuff a lot with my identity and like school, but I hope that with all the stuff that's going on now, like that transgender youth are being seen more in positive and negative ways, that we could help it be more normal and that people don't have to go through stuff as hard as people in the past did. Just stay safe. Everything gets better, hopefully. I'm still young, so I don't really know, but hopefully.
Hey, I'm Lucas. My pronouns are he, him, and I am a trans guy from Norway. For me, the best part of being trans is having such a fantastic community of awesome individuals which all have their very own perception of who they are, and I think that's really beautiful. It's been hard for me to come to terms with the fact that people would never automatically see me or assume me the same way that I view myself, and that I would have to go through this whole coming out process in order to be seen as a man and live the life I want to live. In the future, I wish that the trans community gets more respect and appreciation, and that doctors providing gender affirming healthcare acknowledges and accepts that trans people are different, that we don't all want the same, and yeah, that we're just human basically. As for wholesome stories about my identity, when I was younger, even before I knew like was what being transgender was, or even if it was a real thing, I used to write stories about this boy who was assigned female at birth, or like born a girl, as I wrote, because I was 7. So like the funny thing is that I had never heard about people like in real life who had actually changed their gender. I just wrote about what I felt, and yeah, didn't even question it because I was an innocent egg. So yeah, happy Trans Visibility Day.